So, what if I told you that the single biggest thing holding you back from getting rich has absolutely nothing to do with money? Today, we are diving deep into one of the most powerful books ever written, Think and Grow Rich, to pull out a secret that is, well, kind of mind blowing.
No, for real. Just think about that for a second. What if that fortune you've been chasing isn't out there somewhere, but it's actually right here, inside your own head, just waiting for you to unleash it? And to really get how that's even possible, you need to hear a story.
All right, so our story kicks off with this guy, Edwin C. Barnes. Now, Barnes had this one all-consuming obsession. He was going to be the business partner of the great inventor, Thomas Edison. The only problem? Well, he had two. First, he was flat broke, and second, he didn't know Edison from a hole in the wall. Now, for most people, that's game over, right? But not for Barnes.
So when Barnes finally manages to get to Edison's laboratory, and get this, he got there by hopping a freight train, this was the situation. In Edison's eyes, he just looked like, well, a tramp, just another guy off the street. But in his own mind, he was looking at his future business partner. The gap between what the world saw and what he believed was absolutely massive. But the only thing that mattered was what he believed.
I mean, just listen to the raw power in these words. This isn't some hopeful wish. This is a flat-out declaration of fact. This was a man who had burned every single bridge behind him. There was no backup plan. His determination was so real, so absolute, that Edison himself later said he gave Barnes a chance because he saw a man who would literally stand there until he got what he came for. So no, he didn't get that partnership on day one. He got a low-paying, pretty unimportant job in the office. To anyone on the outside, it probably looked like he failed. But see, to Barnes, this was the perfect move. It got him in the door. It put him close to his goal, where he could watch and listen and just be ready. Every single day, he wasn't just mopping floors or whatever he was doing. He was turning up the dial on his desire. And this, right here, brings us to the core secret of this entire book. The reason Barnes eventually succeeded, it wasn't luck. It wasn't an accident. It was the direct result of a powerful, universal principle that you can use too. And here it is. This is the big one. Your thoughts aren't just these fluffy little daydreams that float away. They are tangible forces, real things. And when you take a thought and you mix it with a crystal clear purpose, a stubborn persistence, and a white-hot, burning desire, that thought starts to physically change your reality.
So this is the exact formula Barnes was using, whether he knew it or not. It all starts with a burning desire, not just a casual, oh, that'd be nice kind of wish. Then he focused it into a definite major purpose, become Edison's partner. He backed it all up with that bulldog determination we just talked about, and he just kept reinforcing it in his mind, day in, day out, no matter what.
And then his moment arrived. But it didn't look like a golden opportunity. It came disguised as a problem. It was this new invention, the Ediphone, basically a dictating machine. And Edison's own salesmen, they hated it. They thought it was a joke. They said it would never sell. But Barnes, whose mind was primed to see opportunity where others saw failure, he saw his shot. He went to Edison and said, I can sell that machine. And he did. He sold it so well that Edison gave him a contract to market it all across the nation. He literally thought his way into that partnership. Okay, but for every one Edwin C. Barnes, there are thousands, maybe millions who do the exact opposite. And this next story, it's brutal, but it's probably the most important cautionary tale you'll ever hear about the cost of giving up. So picture this. We're in the middle of the gold rush. A guy named R.U. Darby and his uncle, they strike gold ore. They're ecstatic. They scrape together money, buy all this heavy machinery, and their first haul proves they're sitting on one of the richest mines in Colorado. They're about to be set for life. And then, poof, the vein of gold just disappears. They drill and nothing. Total defeat. So they just quit. Just like that, it's over. They sold all their expensive high-tech machinery to a local junk man for just a few $100, and they took the train home with their tails between their legs, completely convinced they were failures. But see, that junk man, he was a little smarter than they were. Before he scrapped all that equipment, he decided to hire a mining engineer to just take a look. And that engineer found that the Darbys had made one fatal mistake. They had stopped drilling just 3 feet from the gold. You heard me right. The entire fortune was there the whole time, just 3 feet away from where they threw in the towel. That junk man went on to pull millions of dollars from that mine, all because he did one thing the Darbys didn't. He sought expert advice before he quit. The Darbys gave up literally one step away from riches. I mean, that's just devastating, isn't it? But here's where the story gets really good.
Darby didn't let that failure crush him. He obsessed over it, he studied it, he learned from it, and he turned that catastrophic mistake into his own personal superpower.
He came up with his own word for it, stickability. It's a simple idea, but it's so profound. It's that relentless persistence you only get after you've felt the soul-crushing pain of quitting too soon. He made a vow to himself that he would never, ever again stop just because things got tough. And this lesson just got hammered home for him one day. He saw this little girl go up to her landlord, who, it turns out, was Darby's own uncle, because her mom desperately needed 50 cents. The man yelled at her, he threatened her, but she just planted her feet, looked him dead in the eye, and just screamed, "My mommy's gotta have that 50 cents. Her desire was so definite, so powerful, that it just steamrolled him. He stopped, and he gave her the money.
In that moment, it just crystallized everything for Darby. He took the agonizing lesson from the gold mine, he combined it with the raw, unstoppable power he saw in that little girl, and he aimed it at a new career, selling life insurance. From that day on, every single time a potential customer told him no, all he saw was that little girl standing her ground. He became one of the top insurance salesmen in the entire country, selling over $1 million worth year after year.
So what in the world does this all mean for you right now? Because these aren't just cool stories from 100 years ago. They are literal blueprints. The exact same power that Barnes used, that Darby used, that even that little girl used, it's available to every single one of us.
You've probably heard the famous lines, "I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul." Well, the reason that's true, the reason that's not just some nice-sounding poetry, is because you, and only you, have the power to control your thoughts. And your mind literally becomes a magnet for whatever your dominant thoughts are, attracting the people and the circumstances that match them. Which means, right now, you have a choice. You can let your mind run on autopilot in a failure consciousness, always focused on what's impossible, seeing limits everywhere, and caving at the first sign of defeat. Or you can deliberately, consciously build a success consciousness, where you know exactly what you want, and you magnetize your mind with a desire so powerful that temporary setbacks don't even register.
And that brings us right back to the most important question of all. Not for Barnes, not for Darby, for you. What is your Ediphone? What's your 50 cents? What is that one thing you desire so deeply that you are willing to go all in and tell the world, "I will stand here until I succeed"? Look, if this video sparked something in you, if you felt a little jolt, don't just let that feeling fade away. Take one small action right now to anchor it. Like this video to lock in that feeling and tell the world you're serious. Share it with that one person you know who might be just 3 feet from their own gold. And of course, subscribe for more videos that will change the way you think.
Thanks so much for watching. Now go figure out what it is you truly